Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. We are two of the Office Blokes.
Yeah, we are.
I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Daz.
That was more like a news intro, wasn't it?
And with the weather...
Yeah, welcome to the show, guys.
Mike.
What's the weather like, Mike?
150 sunny.
Nice and sunny. So where are you? Outside chilling? All right, okay. We'll be in the studio. We did a competition to win this OB hat. All you had to do was go to our YU Gay reaction and comment 1 million and be subscribed. Loads of you did. And congratulations, Nolan Warnock, for winning. Drop us an email at officeblocksreact@gmail.com and we will arrange
The next steps.
Yeah, the next steps. That being said, if you want to win this bright orange OB polo that is so orange the camera doesn't do it justice.
I thought it was white and just the glare coming off your beard was causing it to be orange, but actually it is orange, isn't it?
Actually, it was white when I got hold of it, and I used natural colouring to make it orange. I won't tell you how. It involved a bathtub and some sponges. But yeah, all you've got to do is go to our WAP lyric read through, comment Mike's WAP, and be subscribed to the channel. That's it, and then you can win that. So there you go. Boom.
Terrific.
Easy. Right then, why are college towns so great?
I love going to college towns over here. Or uni towns.
Leeds is a big one, isn't it?
Leeds, Newcastle, Nottingham,
yeah,
Manchester.
Always lively for nights out, aren't they?
Yep.
Loads of live music, loads of cool bars. I presume American college towns are similar then. You just have a high...
I would have thought so. There's just a high volume of people, isn't there? A younger generation where they've got to go somewhere.
I suppose when you've got the college sports as well, there's going to be a stadium there. There's going to be like a potentially 90,000 seat football stadium and stuff.
Yeah.
I bet it's like a college town over here, but on the next level, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's get into it then. Why are college towns so great?
What is a college town exactly? To answer that question, let's start in Ames, Iowa, home to Iowa State University. Go Cyclones! The city has a population of 66,000 people, which includes 27,000 students.
Wow.
Students are almost exactly 40% of the population. Here's a list of the top 5 employers in Ames, and you can see that Iowa State employs 10 times the number of people as the second largest employer in town. And you can ask anyone with a degree from Iowa State. Ames is absolutely a college town. Let me put forth a definition that will certainly ring true to Cyclones and other college town residents, past and present. These are towns or cities whose community character is largely dominated by their college student population.
I guess a lot of the colleges there are not in the big cities in that state necessarily.
Yeah.
So do you know what I mean? So you've got Iowa. So you've got what's the big city in Iowa? Des Moines, is it?
Des Moines. Yeah.
And then you've got is it Iowa? I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So then you know obviously Ann Arbor, Michigan, and you've got a few there. You've got Detroit, for example.
Yeah.
But they're not in. They don't sit in them towns, so they're kind of a little bit more sort of like secluded. Whereas over here, they are in the big cities. They are, yeah. When you look at the best college towns or university towns over here, I'd say Newcastle, Leeds, Manchester, Nottingham.
Yeah, they're all all major cities that have stood since the Roman times.
I'm probably going for them being top 4. Yeah. Sort of like party towns.
Yeah.
Liverpool is another one.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm missing probably another 10, 15 that are really top ones.
I wonder if these are more purpose built then.
I think when you look at the employment in there in that Ames, you know, 16,000 and the next second one down was 1,600 or something.
Yeah.
It's a massive difference.
Almost half of the whole town are students, and then you've got to factor in there's going to be some kids that are too young to be students and some old people that aren't of working age. It's a huge concentration of people that are at that party age where you've got.
I'm thinking a lot of the older people might not be living there. I think they move out. Yeah, because it's a college town.
I bet that's wild.
And a lot of the students are working in the town as well for the part-time jobs in the bars, restaurants.
In these cities, the high number of college students, at least 20% of the population, tends to skew the economic and social trends of the area toward the needs of students. The university is typically the largest employer as well, exerting even more economic impact on the town itself. Cities like Madison, Wisconsin occupy a gray area. Madison's larger than Ames, with a population of over 250,000 and over 600,000 in the metro area. But it's still home to a major university, in this case the University of Wisconsin-Madison and its 50,000 students. That's only 18% of the city's total population. The university is the largest employer, but it's also home to many people who work for the state government, as it's the state capital. I'd still call it a college town, but I can see how someone might not. Even more difficult to classify is Boston, Massachusetts. The area is home to over 50 universities, including MIT, Harvard, Tufts, Northeastern, Boston University, and Boston College.
Just look at the names there as well, you know, of the universities. It's like world renowned.
Including MIT, Harvard, Tufts, Northeastern, Boston University.
MIT and Harvard right next to each other, like two synonymous with proper high education, isn't it? But then Boston's massive, isn't it?
It's a metro area, isn't it?
Yeah,
so it's a big city. But I don't know where would you have the. I guess it'd just be Massachusetts in general, where you would have other. What did he say? Did he say Boston was home to 50 universities?
Boston, he said Boston, not Massachusetts.
Wow.
To be fair, there's 50 universities in Cheetham Hill up the road as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
But they're a bit of a visa scandal.
University and Boston College. There are over 350,000 college students in a region of nearly 5 million. The exact ratio of students to total population is 7.32%, which makes it the second highest ratio of students for regions over 1 million people. Can you guess the region with the highest ratio? Believe it or not, Los Angeles squeaks by Boston with 7.34%. LA is massive, but the region is home to 3 University of California schools, 9 Cal State schools, USC, Caltech, and more. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to focus on regions with less than 1 million people, as that's where you get your classic college towns. Otherwise, they're just big cities with lots of universities. Here's a list of the top 10 regions and metros between 100,000 and 1 million people, ordered based on the percentage of students. All of these are shoo-ins for college towns. Populations of a couple 100,000 in the region, and home to 1 or 2 major universities. They're college towns. Now, people who attended universities and college towns generally have fond memories of them. These towns have a nice mixture of cultural amenities, restaurants, and above-average public transit, but in a smaller town. I did a little Twitter poll and found that a strong majority of respondents would even want to live in one post-graduation. What makes college towns so appealing, and what makes them different from regular small towns? Let's go back to college and find out after the bike bell. Okay, I think we covered what a college town is, but let's take a second and talk about what makes them so special, so different. I think the basic, most obvious answer here is that there's a college campus located within them. They are considered anchor institutions because they're large, long-lasting, and major employers. Hospitals also fit the bill and are sometimes collectively called eds and meds in the planning world. College campuses are often cities within cities, consisting of student housing, offices, classrooms, dining, shopping, and even power plants. They can also have their own police departments. Many college campuses have their own campus master plans that essentially govern land use and development within their boundaries. These plans are done in cooperation with the local city government. While college campuses can feel like entirely separate cities, they obviously have a major impact on the surrounding college town as well, and can even spawn separate districts related to that college campus. Let's take the top example off that list from before, Ithaca, New York, home to Cornell University. I have some personal experience here, as that's where I went and got my undergraduate degree, and I think it makes a great example. Ithaca is located here in the middle of nowhere in upstate New York, at the southern end of Cayuga Lake, one of the Finger Lakes. Here's downtown Ithaca, with its famous Ithaca Commons pedestrian mall. The city is home to Ithaca College, located here, and Cornell University, go Big Red, located up here on a hill. I'm going to be focusing on Cornell here because it's older and larger and had more of a time to make an impact on Ithaca. No offense to my IC friends out there. Cornell's campus is a massive 930 hectares, but Central Campus, where all the classes are, is here. The university has additional districts that form a symbiotic relationship with the campus. The first is, aptly named for this video, College Town. It's home to thousands of students who live off campus, as well as many student-serving businesses, including restaurants, bars, and convenience stores. It's like an entirely separate downtown district, but just for students. And indeed, it feels more like a big city in College Town than it does in downtown Ithaca. The informal name for this type of district is student ghetto, because traditionally they consisted of students renting dilapidated houses and cramming in as many people as they could fit to keep rents low. You'll know you're in a student ghetto when you see a couch on a front porch or a beer pong table in the front lawn.
I bet there's some wild stuff going on there on a regular basis.
I think there is any of them, isn't they? I think they're all quite well renowned for all that kind of stuff. I don't know if it's still as popular as it was back in like the 90s, 80s, 90s sort of thing.
I bet it is.
Well, with social media now, it's probably a little bit. I think it might have dipped a little bit because of what the portrayal of you be in future life.
Yeah, I suppose if people are that, you know, they're really trying to better themselves and get a career, and then it's just all over social media.
Yeah, you don't want to be a top like surgeon,
naked beer pong.
Some girl with her tits out 15 years ago doing beer pong, and
yeah, I get you. I went to uni a couple of years later, so you know a lot of people were like 18, and I think I was about 21.
Same with high school, wasn't it, with you? When you're 23, going back to finish high school.
No, it was all the top sets in high school. Believe it or not, it's actually quite clever. Was being the key word there.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of the people were like young and just getting into partying. And even though I was only a few years older, I'm like, I've been living like that for the past 6 years. I was doing that when I was 15 up until now.
Exactly.
And like a few of the people, it's like, it's almost like they've had the first beer and they're away from the parents for the first time. And I'm like, yeah.
I'm just trying to think of what college towns I've been to. Like, if I've been to any that's like, you think, oh, it's a big college town. I mean, the only one that springs to mind I can think of that was close to where I lived was Princeton.
Right.
You know, but I'm trying to think of any that was like...
Is there a lot of partying at Princeton?
I don't know. I never saw it. Looked at it from that point of view. It was one of them places you used to go to. So it was like a visit spot, you know, for like a lunch or something like that. But you never really saw like going to look at it as a college town.
Yeah.
But that's an Ivy League college as well. But I don't know. Try to think of some.
I think it's where Bert Kreischer kind of became popular, wasn't it? He was just a proper frat boy. And I think he actually became famous from being like America's hardest partier or something while he was at uni. Some stupid, like, ridiculous thing.
That's why he's not a doctor and he's a comedian.
Exactly. But I think he may have been in Florida. So I wonder what the big unis are or colleges are in Florida.
Loads, aren't they? Florida State, you've loads of them.
Yeah.
God knows how many they have. Imagine the size of Florida, where it stretches, you'd have, I don't know.
Quite a few.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
These districts grew right after World War II as GIs returning from the war went back to college, overwhelming on-campus housing. Nearby landlords took advantage of the influx, and pretty soon old neighborhoods around campus became the student ghetto. College Town in Ithaca used to look more like that, but as tastes changed and incomes rose, there began to be a market for less squalid lodgings. Today, College Town and student ghettos across the US are beginning to look less dodgy and overall nicer, if not straight up luxurious. Of course, not all off-campus housing is found in the student ghetto. For many, university is an opportunity to join a fraternity or sorority, and most universities have a place where they're clustered. These districts may have different names, but frat row is a common one.
It's so alien to me, the sorority and fraternity sort of thing. I think about, you know, the sort of party houses and stuff when I was at uni, and they were literally just like crack houses. Like there's none of this LED lights and all that sort of stuff. It's literally people that have been up for 3 days, sat on a couch shivering, and like someone half dead over there and stuff. It was grim. I could never live in houses like that.
No, me neither.
Cornell's Greek District is located near West Campus and has 25 fraternities and 1 sorority. Frats gathered at this location over 100 years ago for a few main reasons. First, it was close to campus, making it convenient for members to walk to class. Second, they wanted to be away from College Town and its lower class vibe. Third, they wanted to be near the dorms on West Campus to attract future pledges. And finally, they all wanted to cluster together because no frat wanted to be viewed as too far away. Clustering ensures that there will always be neighbors to go to your parties. Our final district is not for students, but instead for faculty. Nearly every university has a district nearby where many professors live and have lived for decades. Ithaca has a couple of these. One is the affluent suburb of Cayuga Heights. Nearly 2/3 of Cayuga Heights residents hold graduate degrees, which underscores the density of professors. The second is Bryant Park, near College Town. Both districts were built by the same real estate developer at the turn of the last century, but Cayuga Heights' lots were more expensive, with views of the lake. Wealthier faculty moved there, and poorer ones moved to Bryant Park. That's still roughly the same division today. These districts have staved off incursions of student populations by being savvy politically. Cayuga Heights has had a professor as mayor for nearly its entire history, and enacts policies to limit student housing. Bryant Park residents have been vigilant about getting real estate.
Seems like a little bit of corruption there, don't they? I can afford to live there, and I don't want students.
Don't want anyone else down here. Yeah.
Agents to sell to families instead of students. Why do professors want to live so close to campus? It seems that as a group, they value being within walking and cycling distance to work, and are several times more likely to do so than the general public. Professors are more likely to have odd teaching hours and need to get to their offices in evenings and weekends. And they like to be near libraries, cultural institutions, and the park-like settings of quads. So a college town will have a campus, student ghetto, frat row, and faculty enclaves. If you add all those up, and that's a significant impact on local land use. And it's the reason why universities have an outside influence on local planning issues. That's not something all residents appreciate, particularly if they don't have any sort of relationship with the local university. One common complaint is that as university enrollments grow, more students move to town and push out local renters and raise rents overall. Universities have responded to this complaint by building more on-campus student housing, but students often find that on-campus options are more expensive than off-campus housing. According to the research, the studentification of neighborhoods near a university results in actually overall lower rents, but may still...
kind of like that old adage about where people move to an airport and then complain about the noise.
It is, isn't it?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The college predates you moving there, doesn't it?
Exactly. I see people now, but they bought a house right near the football ground, and then they complain about the crowds. Yeah. I'm like, did you not realise that massive stadium was right about 200 yards from your house?
You know what the big one is in Manchester is what's the gig venue called? That's it's been there for decades, and it's some huge bands there. A lot of the Manchester scene was started there, and one resident bought an apartment.
Not the Hacienda, right?
No, the Hacienda went, didn't it?
Yeah, it's apartments. That's what I thought you were talking. That's what you.
Night and Day. It might be Night and Day.
Don't know it.
It's famous for bands, for decades, and this noise complaint was put in, and someone's taken them to court, and it's been on the cards for years.
Oh, I saw it.
It might actually end up closing.
Yeah, sorry, it is Night and Day. You're right. I know which one you mean.
Yeah, and it's been there forever, and it's like some dickhead moves in and goes, "Oh, it's too noisy."
Sasha Lord's got involved, hasn't he?
Yeah,
he's involved. Yeah.
It's just one of them where you're like, what?
It's been a venue for 200 years,
and also not just that venue. That whole area is noisy and bustling all the time. Why would you move there for a quiet life?
I grew up literally on the flight path of the airport,
and
the planes were probably about. From me to the plane was probably 100 yards type thing. Wow. It was that low. We were the last houses before the runway.
Yeah. And
when people used to come down to me, I used to go, God, them planes are low. And I said, well, they're not going to land up there, are they? They've got to come down to land somewhere, and we just live close by.
I suppose you get used to it as well.
Yeah, it never bothered me. It was great to see. I used to watch them.
I grew up with a train track, like the houses opposite the street, there's a train track behind them. And people would come around for the first time, and the whole house would be rumbling. Yeah. And I'm like, I've not noticed it.
Yeah, but that's what you know what you're getting when you move in there.
Yeah.
They'll result in more scarcity citywide, particularly for units for sale as housing is converted to student rentals. Another challenge facing town-gown relationships, as they're known, is that students like to party. Most of the time, these parties cause only minor nuisance issues, but occasionally they get out of hand and increase stress between the university community and local residents. One example from 2021 is a party-turned-riot in Boulder, Colorado, home to the University of Colorado. Police were called to a loud party at 5 p.m. and were pelted with rocks and bottles. By 9 p.m., hundreds of students flooded the streets, overwhelming the police, and caused significant property damage. Events like these make local residents resentful of students and the universities they
Looks like a wild party, doesn't it?
Yeah, I kind of get it in towns like Boulder, Colorado. It's quite a well-known town sort of thing and all that. Where you're going to get people living there as well on the outskirts or wherever.
Yeah,
but I kind of get it. But if you're moving to a dedicated college town that's just that, like we said before, the one in Iowa, that just seems to me like just college town.
Yeah.
If you're living there and moaning about it, move somewhere else.
I do wonder, when they talk about partying and things like that, 5 p.m, what's really going on? Because we've got like a much more significant drinking culture in this country. It's just a lot more normal. And I'm like, how wild is it at 5 p.m there for a college party of all these kids who've not been able to drink before until they're 21? Or
it depends what time. I mean, is that 5 p.m the day after or 5 p.m the day of?
I think that's the day of, because then it was 9 p.m that it was kicking off. And it's like, maybe I was expecting him to say 5 a.m, because in this country it's like
but what happens is when you go to a party like that, a lot of people just binge drink straight off the bat, don't they, to get in there when they're already buzzing. So if it's starting at 5, people are turning up who've been drinking since 2, and they're probably smashing bottles straight down, vodka and whatever,
pre-drinks.
Young kids, pre-drinks, big time.
Is binge drinking as big a thing over there?
I think binge drinking's a problem all around the world. I don't say a problem, but it's a thing all around the world. It's not a problem. It's an issue all around the world. You've got.
I just think when the age, like, you start drinking about age 13 in the UK.
Yeah,
I think it's not like you start drinking, but that's when you probably at the weekend you get a bottle of cider with your mates or whatever. Yeah. And I just wonder at what age, because you've got to learn, you've got to build up a tolerance a little bit.
I think it depends where you live and what your upbringing is.
Yeah,
in the USA,
a lot of these kids that are like away from mum and dad for the first time and they've first got a hold of some booze.
It might not just be alcohol.
That's a fair point. I'm factoring in booze, but it's naughty substances as well.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
They attend. But I think most would agree that the presence of a university in a city is generally a good thing. And like I said at the beginning of the video, lots of people would like to live in a college town even if they weren't students. And if I could get personal for a second, I'd have to agree. I'm super overeducated, so I've lived in 4 different college towns, and I have to say that...
That's his 3rd t-shirt, have you noticed?
Yeah.
They're pretty great. I live in one right now, San Luis Obispo, home to Cal Poly, where I teach. And, college towns aren't for everyone, but for a lot of people, they're going to like the mix of amenities and size. My own theory is that they combine some of the benefits of large cities with the charm of smaller towns. They're actually sort of what the suburbs should have been. Here's an example. Here at Cal Poly, parking spaces are limited and freshmen are not allowed to bring their own cars. This is a pretty common policy in space-constrained campuses. This means students need to either walk, bike, or take a bus to get around town. The result is that San Luis Obispo has a bus system that's better than what you'd expect from a similar-sized city without a university. And it also increases the need for a great pedestrian and bicycle network. And while San Luis Obispo has a student ghetto with apartments and restaurants catering to students, students are also part of the reason why downtown San Luis Obispo is so great. Students shop here, go to bars here, hang out here, and that's generally a good thing. A college town and its university may not have an absolutely perfect relationship all the time, but it's clearly a symbiotic one, and one that results in some pretty great places. College towns are the only place to go to learn something new. We have this fancy new technology called the internet, which means you can learn from anywhere. And it can even be hands-on and interactive. So if you're thinking about going back to university and you want to brush up on your math and science, or if you're mid-career and want to learn about new technology.
Segue?
Skillshare.
Is it going to be? It's interesting.
It was an interesting video because you never associate. We don't know anything about college towns in the USA.
Nothing.
But it's one of them where you go to and it's, my plan is to go to a college football game.
Yeah.
And sort of like see what it's about and go tailgating and all that and just live the whole weekend in the college town to see what it's about.
I'd love to do that. I'd absolutely love to do that.
And it gives you a full flavour. But I don't really want to go somewhere that's a big city college town. I don't want to go to LA. I don't want to go to New York. Don't want to go to Boston.
Yeah, because you want to experience the actual whole college thing.
Yeah.
And you got probably half the town going to the football game and everyone's in on it together.
Yep.
Must be crazy.
That's what I want. Yeah.
Yeah. But what he was touching on at the end there, where the local amenities benefit from it, he's definitely right. You go to a city in the UK with big universities and like cycleways are better, pedestrian stuff's better, just traffic, public transport, just everything about it has been polished because you've got so many people that rely on it. They rely on buses.
Look at the growth of Manchester with the growth of the universities around Manchester as well that have come in. I mean, you look at some of the science and technology ones that have come up, that have popped up in Manchester, or the major development universities that are cropping up everywhere. Man, it's getting proper busy in town now.
Isn't there 1 million students in Manchester?
Is that what it is?
I feel like I need to fact check that.
I was going to think before. I wonder how many students are in Manchester.
I feel like there's 1 million. It's one of those sort of crazy numbers.
But I bet it wasn't that 2 years ago. But it was nowhere near that 2 or 3 years ago. Just seems to be packed now with like people from all over. You see all kinds of different cultures, nationalities.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm well off. Well, this is.
You could put Greater Manchester.
I just put Manchester actually, and it's 120,000.
No, it's more than that. I bet. When was that? That was probably just Manchester University.
Yeah, I'm not sure because then you've got Salford. Maybe Salford isn't considered in that because it's a separate city, isn't it?
Yeah.
Salford Uni is massive. Yeah, it's got loads of people.
Yeah. But there's loads. I mean, even when you go down to the smaller colleges, there's loads of them.
Yeah.
But you got a town now. It's all college. Loads of students. Loads.
It's students.
More than I've ever seen before.
A lot of students where you live as well, isn't there?
Right, it's a big student town.
It's that filtered out.
We got all the medical students where we live,
and you've got a lot of the postgrads as well that are just like getting jobs, got a bit of money. Not got money necessarily, but they're not skint students.
Well, you've got students that have sort of like finished all the courses, moved on to jobs, and they still want to live in that area because they still think the students still scruffy little gets scouring around, sort of thing, dressed like you see. Some of the sights you see of student dress over this country is just bizarre.
They just don't wear bras.
They don't wear nothing. Some of them. See one with a tutu on and a pair of Doc Martens, and that was him.
Did he have a bra on?
His girlfriend didn't. No, she didn't even have a top on.
Jeez.
Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.